Don't you love it? All right. Hey guys, how are you? Kim Anderson here. I have not done a live for a while over here on my Facebook page. And I decided to do this one today because I've been like studying. Hey there, thanks for joining. I've been studying this thing called Bitcoin for a couple of months and following it and just seeing if it was real and all that kind of thing. Hey, Tracy. And so I do not, first of all, let me just say for the record, I am not pretending to be the guru on Bitcoin on the internet. Hey, Philip. Hey, Robert. But what I have done some studying, and I want to share with you, what I've learned. I think I'm going to do a series of these videos to help people understand why they need to be aware of and involved in and have some Bitcoin. And so what I want to do with this video, hey Al, what I want to do with this video is just give you guys the basics. I want to give you the history. I want to tell you what it is, what it isn't, and why you should have some. And we'll just keep it really basic for this first video. Okay, can we do that? Awesome. So I first heard about Bitcoin in like 2011. And then it was like maybe half a penny, right? And folks were like, you want to buy this Bitcoin, you want to get it, you want to hold it because the value is going to go up. Well, in 2011, like it sounded like a good idea, but I did not see how I could use it in my everyday life. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't see how I could take my Bitcoin in 2011 and go buy a pair of shoes. Like I just didn't see how that was possible. I wish I had been a little more wise in 2011 when I first heard about it. But, so it was kind of in and out, so for the past couple of years, it's been in and out, Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that. And I was like, yeah, but I still didn't see the traction of using it and having it be a real financial vehicle until this year. And so let me just start with a history of what Bitcoin is. So some folks have been like, I know you've seen it. You've seen seen it trending on Twitter, or seen it trending. I can talk. See it trending on Facebook, and you're like, what's going on with this Bitcoin? And a matter of fact, what is Bitcoin? And so let me start off by giving you a definition, basically thinking of it like a commodity, like gold, like silver. Bitcoin is an internet e-currency commodity, okay? And it's also called cryptocurrency, meaning that it was created online, created on the internet. And so, but Bitcoin, and there's lots of cryptocurrencies. Let me just be clear on that. There's lots of cryptocurrencies, but Bitcoin is sort of the granddaddy of them all because it was the first and it's lasted the longest. And right now it's going to give you the most flexibility as actually being able to use it as a financial vehicle and use it to buy those pair of shoes that I talked about a little bit earlier. And so thinking of it as a commodity, the cool thing about Bitcoin is if you look on or do a Google search, you found out yesterday that Bitcoin closed at over $5,000. And so most people would hear that and go, oh my gosh, like I can't afford a Bitcoin. That's true. You may not be able to afford one Bitcoin. But what I found and what I love about it is that unlike gold or silver, where you have maybe an ounce of gold or an ounce of silver, and you may buy silver and gold by the ounce, in Bitcoin, you can buy it in degrees and percentages. So you can buy $50 worth of Bitcoin. You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. You can buy a portion of a Bitcoin and still use that as the value of Bitcoin goes up. You can still use that to your financial benefit. So you can buy it today. You can buy $50 worth of Bitcoin today, which would probably be something like 0.0004 Bitcoin, but you can do that. And that's one of the things that makes Bitcoin so very interesting and so amazing, is that for right now, if you can go buy a Bitcoin, I'm telling you, go buy a Bitcoin. Go buy one whole Bitcoin at $5,240 if you want to, which is fine, because the trend for Bitcoin is that it's going to keep going up. And here's why. Let me go into that and tell you why you want to be involved with Bitcoin. So if any of you took an economics course in high school and college, hang on one sec, took an economics course, one of the key ingredients of economics is scarcity. And so one of the things you want to understand about Bitcoin, and I will tell you how it got created in just one second, but one of the things about Bitcoin that's fascinating is that it's going to become more and more scarce in the future, which means that the price and the value of it is only going to go up. So let me back up a little bit. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself in this video. And so you might say, well, where did it come from? Where did this Bitcoin thing come from? Great question. It was created by someone or some people who are thought to be in Japan, but they can't exactly prove that they're in Japan. So sometimes you may hear the name Satoshi Nakamoto, like that person is the creator of Bitcoin, but they don't know if that's one person or three people. Okay? Now, one of the things that makes Bitcoin so amazing and so unusual is that they created Bitcoin. This group, or Mr. or Mrs. Nakamoto, created Bitcoin to be outside of government control, outside of central bank regulations. This is something that is done outside of a banking system. That's very, very key. So that means the government cannot come in and regulate how much Bitcoin you have. You can have as much as you want. And now in 2017, you can actually now begin to take that Bitcoin and translate it into dollars that can now purchase things for you. I don't know if you've noticed that Amazon takes Bitcoin now. There's lots of places and lots of things that you can do with Bitcoin in 2017 that you could not do in 2011 when I first heard about it. And so there are even Bitcoin ATMs and things that are going to start popping up, and you're going to start hearing about, oh my gosh, there's a Bitcoin ATM, which means, yeah, I can literally go to the ATM if I have Bitcoin, and I can take my Bitcoin out, and or I can purchase Bitcoin and I can transfer that into cash and use it that way. So there are things that are happening. The technology has evolved that lets us now use Bitcoin like cash and the currency that it is. Hey, Pam. So you guys, are you following me? Are you tracking with me? So now it was created, and here's what's even more super cool. A couple of weeks ago, Bitcoin was rolling along at about $4,000 a Bitcoin. And then I think this was at the end of September, some point in September. And then there was all this commotion from China because China said it was cutting down, it was getting rid of its Bitcoin exchanges, and they weren't going to do Bitcoin anymore. And people that had Bitcoin started freaking out. And people that didn't understand Bitcoin started freaking out. I got excited because I was like, you know what that means? See, the Chinese, I believe, want to control everything. And so if the Chinese government said, we can't control this Bitcoin, so we're getting out of it, it's doing exactly what it was created to do. It was created to give you, those people that invested and purchased Bitcoin, it was created to give you your own personal economy outside of a government structure. So it's a kind of a whole weird thought process and understanding and cutting edge thinking process that you can have an economy. You can be your own bank with Bitcoin, and you can decide how much you have and where to go and what to do with it and how much to keep and how much to spend, all of that, if you have your own Bitcoin. So I want to keep this video kind of short and sweet. Now, I talked to you about scarcity and why scarcity is key with Bitcoin. It was created that each year, about every 2 years, the amount of Bitcoin that could be what's called mined. That term simply means there's a bunch of techie people coming up places in rooms all over the world who are trying to create or trying to figure out the formula for Bitcoin. So every couple of years, the amount of Bitcoin that can be mined is cut in half. Right. So in about 18 months, right now they're producing 12.5 Bitcoin. I don't know if that's per day, per month, whatever. But that amount is going to get cut down to 6.25 in 2019 sometime. So it's going to be harder to be able to grab a hold of Bitcoin. At some point in the next 10, 15 years, they're not going to be mining any more Bitcoin. They're not going to be creating any more Bitcoin to go out into the market. It's going to be it. So that's why the value of Bitcoin is going to keep going up. They're projecting that right now it closed yesterday at $5,240. Woo! That by this time next year, it could be trading at $10,000 a Bitcoin. So people will ask, well, oh my gosh, like I really want to get involved and I really want to get this Bitcoin. Like, what do I do? I will do another video for that to help you understand what you should do and how you should do it. Now, full disclosure, I'm involved with a couple of Bitcoin programs, and I'm not here to necessarily talk to you about that today or talk to you about strategies about Bitcoin. But what I will say is that there are avenues and ways you can look at this. You can look at this as part of your portfolio. I know folks that are looking at this as part of their retirement, and they are consuming Bitcoin, meaning they may go and every pay, they may just buy a little bit more Bitcoin, buy a little bit more Bitcoin, buy a little bit more Bitcoin, and just let it sit and grow. I'm telling you, because that's the beauty of it. That's why it's so amazing, is that you don't have to have whole Bitcoins to get started. You can start to gather a piece here, a piece there, and as Bitcoin's value keeps going up, what you have begins to grow in value. It's the coolest thing. And so you can take that strategy. I'm going to just sort of use it as a savings account. And I'm just going to gather some Bitcoin and just gather some Bitcoin and just gather some Bitcoin. That's an option. Then there's other programs that help you multiply your Bitcoin. So we'll get into that. I'll do a video that will explain how to do that, because it's not as simple as like just going to a computer and just saying, hey, give me some Bitcoin. You got to kind of know where to go. You got to kind of know what to do. You got to understand the wallets. You got to understand all those sorts of things that are different than what you may have known before. So with that, I want to encourage you guys that are joining to watch this, share this, message me with any questions that you have, because you want to have some Bitcoin. You want to have some Bitcoin, whether, like I said, whether it's part of your retirement planning and you just get some and you keep it, or if you want to be a little bit more active and you want to start to get some and then multiply it. And that usually involves, creating a team and sharing the knowledge that you have about Bitcoin with other people. Some people don't want to do that, and that's fine. You can do either one. But work whatever strategy is best for you. And I'll come back on later, and I think I'm going to have to do like a screen share. I got to figure out how to do that with doing a Facebook Live. And I'll do a screen share, and I'll show you the websites and places to go and the things to avoid, because just like anything on the internet, there are some scams in Bitcoin. And one of my mentors had done some research earlier than me, and she began to watch the telltale signs for businesses that were like, you're a scam. Yeah, you're getting ready to close, aren't you? And so what they would do is they would take people's Bitcoin and they'd be like, bye, we'll see you later. So we want to be able to help you navigate through those things so that you go straight to the things that will work best for you. So thank you guys so much for watching this very first Bitcoin 101 video, because I'm telling you guys, you got to get some Bitcoin. Now that you've sort of gotten an understanding, If you join late, watch this from the beginning. I'm trying not to keep it very long. But the cool things about Bitcoin, it can't be regulated by the federal government. Huge. So huge. The government cannot say how many Bitcoin you can have. They don't know who actually created it, so governments can't go to them and tell them to stop it. And there are some other things about Bitcoin that we can talk about a little bit later. One's called the blockchain, and I'll give you some insight and some information and background on that, which also makes it virtually impossible to hack Bitcoin, which is just one of those other super brilliant things that was created when Bitcoin was created. And that it's an e-currency, that it's an internet commodity. And just because the price is high doesn't mean you can't jump in right now and start to take a piece of it bit by bit, because Bitcoin can be purchased in increments or percentages. So just because it's trading right now at $5,000 plus doesn't mean you can't take advantage of it where you are and start to build your portfolio of Bitcoin. And then once you have an understanding of that, build it and take it into other cryptocurrencies. So with that, I hope this was very helpful and blessed you all. I'll be back later to give you some more details and some more understanding. But this is Kim Anderson signing off, saying thanks for watching, and I hope this was informative for you. Bitcoin 101. We'll be back later with some more details as we talk about this amazing cutting edge currency and what it can do for you and your family. God bless you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.